Hello folks, this is Solo once again. Welcome to another video for Teamfight Tactics. We are still on the PBE, the public beta environment, and this game is taken, I think, let's see, the set 5.5 had been on the PBE for about 3 or 4 days when I recorded this video. And in this one, we're going to be looking at kind of a tank-based team composition that's going to be based on stacking knights and then building just like a super duper tanky front line and then looking to play units that kind of deal damage behind the tanky front line. So I've been experimenting with this a bit, testing out kind of knight-based team compositions. I've tried running both 4 knights and 6 knights. I think that 6 knights is probably not worth running unless you can get a knight emblem, because you have to play too many knights. There are 6 knights in set 5.5, and you need all 6 of them to play 6 knights. But if you can get a knight emblem, then it can be worthwhile. Otherwise, it's probably better to just play 4 knights. Okay, so why knights? What makes knights useful here in set 5.5? Well, for one thing, you can get 4 knights pretty early on and make a really strong front line. Leona's a 1-cost unit, Poppy's a 1-cost unit. So Leona and Poppy are 1-cost, and then Thresh and Nautilus are both 2-cost. Now that's not different inherently from set 5, back when those same units were around and in the pool. But the big difference is that a lot of the damage instances in set 5.5 are like ticking damage. That is, they don't do like big flat damage immediately, but they do ticking damage over time. And like I said, there's a lot of abilities that are like that. So for example, Lucian's culling fires lots and lots of low damage attacks. Well, Knights, the trait provides flat damage reduction. So it will reduce the damage on each one of the shots that come out from Lucian. If you think to Vel'Koz's damage does damage in little ticking increments. That Knights also reduce the damage for each tick of Vel'Koz ult. And Akshan's ability fires lots and lots of shots too. So Akshan's another one of the champions that does kind of the same thing, fires damage in little increments over time. So Knights, oh, and the other big thing is the one unit that was like a really good counter to Knights was Mordekaiser, because Mordekaiser would do these big, strong swings of his mace, and that made him kind of an anti-knight unit, but he's no longer in the pool, and Draven does not seem to be as strong, at least here in the PBE, because Forgotten is kind of a shadow of what it once was. Draven also was kind of a unit that was did damage in like big chunks when he tossed out his axes. So overall, Knights feel better in this set than they did in the previous set, and I've just been testing out some of these builds and finding them to be pretty useful. Okay, so what's going on in this game right now? Well, I've actually found 4 knights very early on. I found an early Leona and Poppy, and then now I found a Thresh and a Nautilus. So I actually have 4 knights already, but I don't just want to play 4 knights here at level 4 because then I have no damage. I need some kind of unit that provides damage. So I've also found a Tristana, and I'm going to look to play Trist. One of the setups that I found to be pretty good in the early game is your 4 early knights. And here, let's see, what do I get? I'm going to go ahead and take the Chain Vest because I'm looking to build out from my front line to my back line. One of the setups that I found is the 4 early knights. So that's Leona and Poppy, 1-cost knights. And then Thresh and Nautilus, the 2-cost knights. And then the 2 units that I like pairing with them are Tristana, because Tristana is a Hellion, gets that little bonus extra attack speed from pairing with Poppy. Hellions is now a 2, 4, 6, 8 trait instead of a 3, 5, 7 trait as it was in set 5. So you get a little bit of extra attack speed. It's only 5%. It's not much, but you do get extra attack speed from having them both in there. And of course, you get the little Hellions that come out when they die, which is good in the early game. It's not as good in the late game. So you get that, and then the other unit that you put in is Misfortune. Misfortune is a Forgotten unit and a Cannoneer unit. So she combines Cannoneer with the Tristana, and then she combines the Forgotten with Thresh. Forgotten is now basically Warlords from set 4. You get a stacking bonus for each victorious combat. So those are kind of the core of this setup that I've been playing, and it seems to work pretty well. Like, you run them through the early game and the mid game, and then you get some more options in the late game to switch into different stuff. So here in this fight, unfortunately, Trist kind of got popped relatively early. She jumped into the backlines and then died, and without Trist, I don't really have any damage, so I end up losing that round. Part of the issue is I kind of have all 1-star units here. Like, the actual traits are pretty good, and I'll get stronger when I can put Nautilus in at level 5. but it's one star Leona, 1 star Thresh, 1 star Poppy, 1 star Tristana, and then if I can put it in, 1 star Nautilus. So I haven't really been hitting these units yet. As I said, I'm somewhat forcing this build, but then again, I did get the pieces for it early on. I just haven't gotten more than 1 unit of it. In terms of positioning, I want to try to put Thresh on the opposite side from where carries are. And I see this comp, and I'm like, wait a minute, this comp's already level 5, and they've got a 2-star Olaf, and they've got a 2-star Kled, and they've got a Rakan in there already. Rakan's a 3-cost unit. So I was like, all right, well, there's no way I'm ever beating this unit, this team composition. I'm just hoping we can kill a couple units so we don't take quite as much damage here. But Rakan is healing the enemy team every single time that he gets his ult off, and so yeah, that's not going to happen. And this is going to be a bad loss because that comp is extremely strong right now, and I would expect that comp to win streak pretty easily based on what they've been finding thus far. All right, so what do we have here? So I am going to get second priority on the carousel. I did think about just taking the Misfortune here because I'd like to play Misfortune, but I already have another unit to play at the next level. And in fact, Misfortune gets taken anyway. So instead I'm like, I've got the Rakan. That is a 3-cost unit. And I can use the item on Rakan to make Gargoyle Stoneplate, which is, again, a nice tank item. Since I already have the Warmogs, I will just go ahead and continue building from frontline out to backline. And then we'll see what I can get after that. I would prefer the Gargoyle Stoneplate over the Bramble Vest, which I don't think is quite as good. Also, the Bramble Vest was on a 1-cost Leona as opposed to a 3-cost what was that, Rakan right there. All right, so as far as this goes, if you're going to be playing a knight-based team composition like this, the key item that you want to get is Warmogs, because Warmogs add so much extra health. Remember that Knight trait is going to provide flat damage blocking. At Knight 2, it's 20 flat damage blocked on each incoming attack. At Knight 4, I believe it's 40 flat damage. Again, this is PBE, so expect the numbers to change in patches, that sort of thing. So if you're getting flat damage reduction, what is the most important stat to get on your tanks? Well, it's additional health. And that's what Warmogs provide. So you just want more health because that means they can just take more hits. Now in this fight, Trist is going to fling herself into the back lines, but then the Doppel Trist comes out of the portal and is going to kill that Zyra, that person stacking up. So we're going to be able to win that fight. And looking pretty good here. I was actually surprised the comp we hit earlier, John Duff, actually ended up losing, and I was like, oh, who did this person lose to? And then I see that this person, Mashed Potato PBE, is running 3 Skirmishers, 2 Cavs, 2 Nightbringers, 2 Hellions. I was like, wow, that's a lot of synergy. And they have a bunch of 2-star units as well, so I suspect that this person hit the Mashed Potato PBE. Note that this person is 0 gold, so they're just rolling super aggressively right now. Like, they're literally just rolling all their gold down to 0 to try and hit units, which is going to make them incredibly strong in the early game. But we'll have to see how that holds up into the late game. They basically have to keep win streaking, or else their economy is just going to be complete garbage. So that's like a very high risk, high reward strategy that you need to keep hitting those units. All right, so we're up against, it looks like a Skirmishers comp here. They actually have a 2-star Leona and a 2-star Udyr, so we really should not be favored to win this because we have all 1-star units. We have no 2-star units in our team comp whatsoever right now, but look how long Leona can just sit there tanking. Like, she just tanks forever. But is she going to be able to tank the entire team? I mean, we're already into overtime right now. Overtime triggers. I was like, all right, it looks like we don't have quite enough to deal with this. But that's just because we have no 2-star units, whereas that team has multiple 2-star units and has Skirmishers in, which is a good trait for the early game. All right, so I'm hoping right now that I will just start to hit some more units. It wasn't an especially great stage 2. I did manage to get a decent amount of econ, in part because I'm not buying units. It's like one of the trade-offs. If you're not buying units, you're not spending gold, so you end up with more money. But obviously, I would have preferred to have, like, I don't know, 15 to 20 gold, and maybe not have taken 10 damage would be nice here. And also just having more champions to make my overall setup stronger. All right, so like I said, I'm hoping I can actually hit some of these units. I picked up a Senna. Senna will be the next unit in if I can't find a Misfortune, because she will at least put the Cannoneer trait in play. That won't get me the Forgotten trait, but it would get me Cannoneer, so that's why I held that unit. And then, hey, Misfortune pops out of an orb. That's nice. So now I can sell the Senna, and let's see, do we get anything from that last column? No. This is a big change. Oh, and by the way, we're going to hit 2-star Poppy. That's probably the single least important unit to 2-star, but it's worth something. And we also get another Thresh. Okay, So one of the things that has changed here in set 5.5 is they have limited the number of actual item components that you get. Notice that we got 0 item components from that minion round. It's one of the changes I don't like. This set has moved even more items into the armories, and in particular has moved more completed items into the armories. You don't really get very many item components anymore. Like right now, we've gotten 5 item components. We're probably only going to get about 3 more item components the entire game. Most of what you get now is finished items, and I just don't think that's a good change because one of the big ways that players get to put their impact on the game is by deciding what items they want to build. By switching so much of it to armories, and in particular to completed items in the armory, it really removes a lot of player choice from the game. Yes, you get to pick between different options in the armory, but still, it's a limited number. I don't know. This is a change I don't particularly like, and it doesn't feel much fun to have a minion round and then just like get 0 components from it. Kind of frustrating. All right, well, anyway, we get a big hit there. I get 2 Leonas, and then I'm going to look to put in the Misfortune, and I'm going to roll a little bit here. Just I have so many 1-star units, I want to try to find some 2-stars. I want to upgrade my board. Yes, this is going to cost economy, but if I don't do that, I'm likely to just get kind of smashed around here in the mid game. So I roll about 20 gold, and I actually do get some pretty good hits. I managed to 2-star the Nautilus, and I find another Misfortune. So now I have 2 out of 3 Misfortunes. There's also a Rel in the store, which I would like. Rel is the unit I would like to play at level 7, but it just is going to cost a little too much money to hold that unit right now. I don't want to drop below 20 gold. So I'll hold off on that and figure I can probably find Rel down the road, or because I'll probably have to roll a little bit of gold on 7 as well. All right, so now feeling a little bit stronger right now. I am up against Mashed Potato, the comp that hasn't lost yet. So this is like the strongest comp right now. Remember, this person's been rolling aggressively constantly throughout the game. And this fight's actually pretty close right now. I was like, you know, if we can kill that Nidalee, I think maybe we can actually win this fight. But Nidalee survives a little bit longer than we'd like. And the Kled manages to dodge out of the Misfortune bullet rain. But it was a close fight, and I'm feeling pretty good. And then I hit Misfortune 2-star after the fight. I was like, you know, if I'd hit the MF 2-star before that fight, I think we actually would have won and interrupted that person's win streak. I mean, look at this person. Level 6, 3 Skirmisher, 2 Brawler, 2 Cavalier, 2 Nightbringer, 2 Dawnbringer, 2 Hellion. That's a lot of trait synergies. I actually have the perfect team comp. No wasted synergies, which is, you know, very rare. You don't see that very often. So it would have been super nice to beat that person, end their win streak. They have zero money in the bank, so if they lose a round, suddenly they're down to just 5 gold per turn, and that would have been quite bad for them. But unfortunately came up a little bit short, but I'm still feeling pretty good about my setup right now. In particular, I really like the super tanky Leona. Leona is extremely difficult to kill because she's got that knight, the 4 knights to block flat damage, and she's got the Warmog for extra health and Gargoyle Stoneplate for armor and MR. So like against teams that haven't found much, we just kind of annihilate them. And it doesn't look like Mashed Potato is going to lose this round. So since I've gotten my frontline tank pretty well itemized, what I'll be looking for next is trying to get more damage items. So that's what I'm going to look for here. Something that I can look to build out the Tristana. She's got a recurve bow right now. So the, let's see, the Needlessly Large Rod for a Rage Blade would be nice. The sword for Giant Slayer is always fine, or I could look to get the Brawler's Glove for Last Whisper. Well, since all the other options are gone, I'm going to take the Brawler's Glove for Last Whisper and pick that up because Armor Shred will be useful to have. I am not going for another tank item because I'm hoping I can get a tank item from the Radiant Armory. I have generally liked the tank items and the utility items more than the pure damage items from the Armory, but of course we'll have to see what we get. So I'll go ahead and make the Last Whisper, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab the 2-star Thresh, and so now my board is almost entirely 2-starred. So I've been pretty lucky here in stage 3 in terms of hitting my units. I'll buy the Thresh, although I don't really plan to go for Thresh 3-star. It's just I might as well grab this unit right now. In terms of the new units that I'm playing, obviously the new units in set 5.5 I'm playing are the Tristana and the Misfortune. Trist, her ability is she rocket jumps. You've probably noticed by now she rocket jumps into the back lines, just like jumps into the back of the enemy team. If there's a unit near her, then she will jump away. If there's nothing near her, then she like just jumps into the back lines. It can be very useful. She's actually pretty good at assassinating enemy carries, but she puts herself in a lot of danger too. So, like I said, I think I mentioned this in the previous video I did on set 5.5, but a Guardian Angel is pretty good on Trist because she puts herself in dangerous positions. I when not planning to run Triss the whole game, I'll look to replace her with like Lucian or an Akshan or something like that later on in the game. All right, here's our Radiant Armory. So do we have an item we want? And yes, there is the Stone Plate. Haha, the Radiant Stone Plate. Holder gains 35 armor and 35 MR for every unit targeting them. And the big thing that makes this item amazingly good is the unit regenerates 2% of max HP every round. I actually think I highlight this. So there it is. Radiant bonus, regenerate 2% max HP per second. Not per round, per second. So this synergizes really, really well with the Warmogs. And so now I'm going to get, let's see, 35 plus 18. So I'm going to get like 50 armor and MR for every unit that targets Leona. Plus her ability is a defensive ability. Plus she has the Warmog for extra health. Plus she now will regenerate 2% of her max health every single second. So I have built like the unkillable front line right now. I mean, obviously I'm exaggerating. This unit can die in fights, but it's not easy for this unit to die in fights. And hopefully I'll be able to transfer these items over to either Galio or over to Garen down the road, because they are also knights and they are just better units by virtue of being more expensive. Like this person picked up the Radiant version of Titans, and I just don't think that item's anywhere near as good. Like, it's not a bad item. None of the Radiant items are bad, but some of them are definitely better than others. The most overpowered one seems to be the Radiant Thief's Gloves, because you actually get 2 Radiant items every single fight. You don't control what they are, but getting 2 of them per fight is pretty nuts. And yeah, so like I said, I've been trying to build this team composition from the front, from like front to back, and that's kind of the way that we're looking to go here. All right, so we've got our overall comp: 4 Knight, 2 Forgotten, 2 Hellion, 2 Cannoneer. We've been winning some rounds, so Thresh and Misfortune have been getting part of the Forgotten bonus. And ultimately here, I was like, all right, I'll just pick up these extra Nautiluses, probably won't hold on to them. And in fact, I think I end up selling them pretty quickly because I'm going to need to raise gold to get up to level 7. I want to get to level 7 and roll a bit more there. So ultimately, I go to level 7 here, if I remember this game correctly. Any second now past me. Oh, there we go. Okay. And then I decide, you know what? I need more gold. I'm going to sell these Nautiluses. So I need to find something here. Again, this is where I'd like to play the Rel, but I haven't quite found the Rel just yet. So I need to put something in, like Rel will get me Ironclad. And then I see Lucian. I was like, okay, I can play Lucian. Lucian is not going to make any particular trait, but he'll get me another Cannoneer. And he's a unit that I want to play into later, because eventually I'll be looking to replace the Tristana. And I just decide here to make Titan's Resolve. It's not ideal, but I didn't really have a great use for these items. I guess I could have made a Sunfire, but I have a healing debuff from the Misfortune, so I feel like I'm probably okay in that regard. And what I was really looking for was more damage. I would like to build an Infinity Edge. I think that would be my ideal third item to put on the Tristana, because I have tankiness right now. What I need is not like a Sunfire Cape to do more ticking damage. What I need is just more damage in general, and that's kind of what I'm looking for here. So that's also why Lucian's good to play, is I just need another source of damage. He actually did the most damage in the fight because he didn't die like Triss did. All right, and then here I've got a Tear and a Bow, and I was like, okay, I think I can make a good use for these two. I think I can just make a Redemption and put it on someone, and that feels like it'll be a useful item to have in here. Otherwise, I don't know what exactly I would do with the belt, but I think that that's the best use I can make for these two items. So I'll look to go ahead, and I was like, all right, Thresh, you're probably going to stay in the comp for a while. I'll put this on you. Put this over by Misfortune, so that way, you can heal those units. Is this the absolute best use of the Redemption? Maybe not. Maybe I should actually bunch up more of the tanks closer together so I get more value from that Redemption. But, Trist is going to go jumping around. Lucian's going to be dashing around in the fights. The one unit that's going to stay in place is Misfortune, so that's kind of why I've put the Redemption over there. And the Leona is going to solo frontline. I deliberately want Leona to solo frontline. I want the enemy units to group up on Leona. I want them to be hitting her because she is like so unkillable as a unit. Anyway, we're up against, I guess it's like a redeemed comp that's playing through this Vel'Koz, who has picked up the Radiant version of Gunblade, which not only heals the user, it also heals another unit that's at low health. But we don't seem to be having too much trouble in this particular round. Although, actually, my backline did get killed, so all my damage source looks to have gotten killed, and now the Vel'Koz is healing, and now it's just, can Leona kill this unit, or can this unit kill it? Oh, it's super close! Oh, Kind of thought we were going to win that round. A little bit unlucky. Man, that round was close. Wish we could have won that and done 5 damage to that person instead of taking 5 damage. But oh well, it is what it is. Probably won't be that big of a deal in this game. All right, so Mashed Potatoes still has not lost a round yet overall. And that person's been able to win streak through, what is it? Through 12 rounds so far? Yeah, there's been 12 PvP rounds so far. So I was like, geez, is anyone going to beat this comp? Because that person's still sitting on 100 health. Like I said, they made a high risk, high reward play to roll that aggressively and not not invest in econ at all, just keep rolling. But it's paid off so far, so you'd have to say it's worked thus far. All right, this person's playing Draconic 5, so we want to try to knock this person out of the lobby quickly before they get to scale up on those golden eggs, since those are worth a lot of money. The good news is this comp seems to be pretty weak, even though they're already level 8, and hopefully we can knock this person out, or the lobby can knock this person out before, as I said, they manage to scale up off of getting all that extra income. Well, we'll do a lot of damage. Is it enough to kill this person? No, but it does knock them down to 1 HP. Okay. Now and Mashed Potato did finally lose a round. Mashed Potato does finally lose. Now, the downside of this is now I'm last pick off of Carousel. I would definitely think about taking the spatula. I could look to make like an ironclad spat, which would be great with Nautilus. I would also take the Garen, but Garen goes immediately off of this carousel. So I'm just waiting, and unfortunately that spat's going to get taken. So out of the options left over, I don't really need a bow. I don't really need a tier. I'm going to take the glove because I'm hoping maybe I can get a sword for Infinity Edge. It's a possibility at least. It is something that we could maybe look to get. And I do have a Reforger as well. So like maybe if I get like an item I don't need, a component I don't need, if I get like, I don't know, a cloak or something, maybe I could try to reforge it and then turn it into a sword. This, you might notice there is a comp that's win streaking, 404 Timo not found. They have a Vayne with good Vayne items, and they've got a Hecarim who's got the Radiant version of the Titans. I think this is the comp we saw earlier and just like absolutely crushed them, but now they've got, or maybe it's not, maybe we have 2 people who have the Radiant Titans, but now that they've hit the 3-star Hecarim, this comp is super scary. It's not even so much the Vayne, it's more that like there's no way to get through the front line and actually kill the Vayne because the Hecarim is like immortal basically. So the Leona, who has been so unkillable in previous rounds, suddenly is not so unkillable against this setup. And unfortunately, that Thresh Hook does not hit the Vayne. Maybe if the Thresh Hook hit the Vayne, we'd have a shot. But like we are not close to killing this comp. And I'm not surprised that this comp's win streaking. If there's good news for the rest of us, it's that this comp is sitting at level 7 and just slow rolling for more units and doesn't have much money left over. So that comp probably not going to get too much more stronger because they're not close to level 8 and they're not going to have the economy. So we just have to hope that they don't hit like the 3-star Varus. They're on 7 Varuses right now. And like, yeah, they're rolling all their gold, but they are about, I guess they are going to probably hit it soon because they now have 8 Varuses. So, not great. But that person's basically stuck at level 7. They're not getting to level 8, not off of what we can see here. And they're going up to 4 Rangers, it looks like. I was keeping an eye on that comp because I was kind of curious what they were doing. All right, so this comp, what are they playing through? What is their Radiant? All right, they picked up the Radiant version of Dragon's Claw, but they have it on Aurelia, who's a 2-cost unit, and Aurelia has no other tank items, so this is a very questionable use of the Radiant item right there. I don't think that this comp's going to do very well. This comp was so super strong at the very beginning of the game, John Duff, but doesn't seem to have been able to have put together a good comp, and we're just kind of annihilating this pretty easily. So yeah, not quite going that well with their Sentinel/Skirmisher comp. Not really going that great there. Anyway, so that was like a middling stage 4. If you notice, I went win-loss, win-loss, win, which is not good for economy. No long streaks in either direction. But I'm still feeling reasonably good about my comp. I've been able to get, looks like I'll be able to get to 8 here and have a decent amount of gold to roll at 8. I am looking for, in particular, Galio and Garen, because those are the top tier knights. Those are the 4-cost and 5-cost knights. I'm looking for them. I would really like to get Leona's items onto either Galio or Garen. Maybe Galio might even be better. I'm much more likely to hit a 2-star Galio than to hit a 2-star Garen. All right, so here I get my last component. It's not a sword, and I just decide, you know what, we'll just make Thief's Glove here. I'll toss it on Lucian. So I do go ahead and find a Galio. I'll toss that in for right now. It takes me to 5 knights, which doesn't really do anything. Also, I'm up to 6 MFs, so I was like, all right, I'll just hold on to these MFs. And there's another Galio, so that's nice. Not finding a whole lot there. I probably should pick up the jacks because yeah, I do pick up the jacks because it could make ironclad if nothing else. And then I'm still rolling. I haven't quite found what I'm looking for here. But I actually find multiple things I want here. So I'll just go ahead and lock. I find a 2-star Trist. I find a Rel, and I find an 8th Misfortune. So I'll just look to go ahead and sort this out next turn. I don't have enough gold to do all of the stuff I want this turn. But I don't need the jacks right now. Also, by the way, Thresh, a clutch hook on that Heimerdinger. It's like, can we finish off the Heimer? Because that Heimer's really strong. And oh, so low. There we go. I think a Poppy shield toss actually finished off the Heimer. So that's great. This is one of those Draconic 5 comps that's playing into Heimer. Really would like to knock this comp out before it can scale up on Draconic items. And we got pretty lucky to kill the Heimerdinger with a Thresh hook and then a Poppy shield toss in the back lines. But, oh, we're going to knock them out. Oh, not quite. But at least we knocked this person down to 1 HP. Or 3 HP. 1 round. All right, so we get another set of items. I actually can get another Thief's Gloves here if I want. But I decided for last item on Trist, I'll go ahead and pick up the Giant Slayer. These items are going to probably get transferred to an Akshan later on. And I want to get the Rel because I want to replace the Jacks that I had in. Or actually, I can take out the Galio and put the Rel in, and that'll make Ironclad. So there we go. A little bit tankier all along. Get that extra armor on everyone. I also have an extra Cannoneer. So now I just look to roll, and I actually find the Galio. I was like, aha, let's go ahead and make Galio 2-star. And then I have to sell my extra Leona, but it's still worth it to do so. So now we're transferring these items over. And since I've sold my Leona, I'm probably not going to go 6 knights this game. I haven't found a knight emblem, and by selling the Leona, I kind of lose the Leona that I would toss in to make 6 knights if I find Garen. But this is feeling good. Galio is a much better holder of these items than Leona. He has a much better ability. Basically, he has a big AoE taunt, which you're going to see. Now, it's not going to be so useful in this fight because there's not that many people near him. But there it goes. He's going to taunt the Varus. That's pretty good. So he gets that off. And by the way, he also heals when he uses his ability. So he's going to be taking damage. He's going to be healing constantly off of that Radiant Gargoyle Stoneplate. And he's also going to be healing off of his own natural ability. Plus, he's got 4 knights in. Plus, he's got the Warmogs. So, yeah, he's going to be pretty hard to kill in these fights. Now, I'm just hoping we can kill the other units. There's a Jax that we need to deal with. There's also been a Rel who's been really hard to kill. But I do still have the Misfortune alive. Come on, MF. Let's get that healing debuff on these units. All right, there we go. So, we do manage to win that round in overtime. And we also have 8 Misfortunes, so I'm kind of like, hey, can I find one more MF here and get the 3-star MF? I do find an Akshan, though, and so that's great. So I will go ahead and... I was going to sell the Trist, but I was like, wait a minute. If I sell the Trist, Trist only sells for 3 gold. That's not enough to get Akshan, so I'm going to have to lock for it. If I sold the Trist, I would not be able to buy the Akshan, but I will sell Trist. I'll transfer the items over, and then I'm hoping that I can find a Garen, and that would replace Poppy, because I won't need Poppy once Hellion trait gets dropped. But Akshan can definitely carry harder than Trist. Trist has been great, but I'd rather have Akshan in the game. He'll also make Sentinel, although Sentinel 3 won't do that much. It's still useful. Okay, so here is the comp with the 3-star Vayne and the 3-star Hecarim. How are we going to do against this comp now that we've scaled up a bit? Go, Trist, go! Ah, Trist, in what's likely to be her last fight, jumps into the backline, kills the 3-star Vayne. Nice job, Trist. And now we are rapidly getting to this situation where it's nothing but the Hecarim left over, and if it's nothing but Hecarim, we can probably deal with this, because you know what? My Galio is actually a better tank than that 3-star Hecarim. With the Knight trade in with the Radiant Gargoyle Stoneplate, yeah, pretty hard to kill us. Alrighty, so what do we have here? Well, there's an Akshan on Carousel. I was like, ooh, well, I'll take that. Then I only need one more Akshan for Akshan 2-star, but of course it gets grabbed right away, so I was like, ah. There's also a Shroud. I would love the Shroud, but the Shroud's gone too. So at this point, I'm like, let's just take most expensive unit available, because none of these items are really going to do anything for me. Redeem's not going to help me. Nothing like that's going to be particularly good. I believe that the last player in the lobby grabbed the Redeemed emblem, which is no good for me, but actually would be pretty good for them. I guess that it would be possible with the Redeemed emblem. I could play one more Redeemed unit, but I'm not looking to go into Redeemed. All right, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and toss the Giant Slayer, the Titan's Resolve, and the Last Whisper on Akshan. Hopefully I can try to find 2-star Akshan down the road. And I'm really rolling for MF 3-star here, along with maybe a Garen would be nice. Or what else can we find? Nothing so far here. So that was a bit of a disappointing roll down. I don't really have a good person to put this on. I think I end up tossing it on Thresh, just because if anyone jumps next to MF, then they'll get taunted by the Zerat. And Thresh is at least a 2-star unit. So this is a ghost round, but the main unit that we have to worry about here is the 3-star Nidalee. Nidalee has the Radiant version of what's the name for that item? I know what it is. I'm just struggling to think of the name. Right here, the Hurricane. Yes, I'm sure everybody watching the video already knew what it was. So with the Bloodthirster and the Radiant Hurricane and the Infinity Edge, I don't know if we can actually kill this unit. Look at the Galio. Come on, Galio. Can you do it? Oh, but healing's reduced in overtime. Not sure we have enough. Yeah, so we do end up losing that. And that Nidalee did 11,000 damage, so oops. Oh well. But hey, there's the 3-star MF. It's a shame we had to roll all the way down to 0 gold here. I would love to go to level 9, and I could look to play another unit, but I'm not sure. But the thing is, like, I still have a 1-star Lucian. The problem is my damage is still pretty low. MF is not itemized. If I'd known that Miss Fortune was going to be 3-starred, I would have itemized her. But I didn't know that that was going to happen ahead of time. So no items on the MF. The units that are itemized are Akshon and Lucian, and they are both 1-stars. So I was like, probably need to continue rolling here, over looking to go to level 9. Probably need to look to do that, just so I can strengthen these units a bit. All right, I want Thresh to go ahead and get a good hook off here. Let's see if he can. Yes, he manages to hook the Lucian, who's got the... I guess there were 2 different team compositions that had the Radiant Radiant Titan's Resolve. 2 different team compositions had that, because we knew the Hecarim had it, and now this person has it as well. I don't really like that on the... don't really love that item on the Varus back there. And in fact, it looks like we were just barely able to kill this unit. And now MF, with her lovely tank Galio, should be able to finish that off. And it looks like we're going to be down to just 3 players here. All right, I do find a Lucian. And now we're up against Mashed Potato and this person, Xiao Xiao GGG, who is playing the Vel'Koz with the Radiant Gunblade. Yes, Radiant Gunblade. So here I get another tank item. I was like, ugh, you know, these items I don't really want that much. And then I was like, wait a minute, I have a Reforger. What if I stuck this on Thresh and then reforged the 3 items? Because I don't feel like those 3 items on Thresh are really doing much of anything. Like, I can probably get better items if I just reforge these things, right? So that's what I'm going to look to do here. I'm continuing to roll, looking for... And honestly, I'm not sure if I should be rolling here in retrospect. It might have been better to go to 9. I think I was trying to 2-star Lucian. There we go. And I was also thinking that there's just not enough time left in this game to get to level 9. And here we're going to get, some much better items. Well, let's just stick all of these on MF. They're not perfect items. MF actually kind of wants AP items. Her ability does magic damage, so she actually is better with AP items. But the Guardian Angel's going to be nice, Giant Slayer, and then some ability to cut through enemy resistances with the Last Whisper. Double Last Whisper is actually not that bad as far as cutting through enemy abilities. And then we're going to hit the Lucian 2-star, which will be nice. I mean, Lucian gets annihilated in this fight. But we're playing around the Galio. The Galio just sits in the middle of every fight, not really taking any damage. And the real question is, like, do we have enough damage to deal with this? So now that Nidalee, who looked so unkillable earlier, is getting stuck on the Galio. She can't kill Galio. MF is still alive. MF does 8,000 damage. And that's going to be a 1 fight. But here is something that is a little bit concerning. This is my Ghost. My Ghost is actually up against the other person who's playing the... playing the Vel'Koz with the Radiant Gunblade, and it looks like I'm losing this round. So I was like, oh, I'm losing this round against this person, huh? We actually managed to time it out into overtime, and then they end up losing in overtime. So we do get the 2-star Lucian, and what I really should be... and here I finally get Garen. Although actually I think I can... Actually, I should just sell Poppy right here. I don't need the lock. I can sell Poppy for 3 gold. This is a mistake on my part. I could just sell the Poppy for 3 gold and then buy Garen, and that would get me the Garen immediately. So there's actually no need to lock here. I miscounted and locked for no reason. But I'm looking to try to position away from the Vel'Koz, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to hit the Vel'Koz player, and in fact I do. So I'm going to look to position the MF away. I'm pretty sure Akshon will just dash away. Will like swing away on a rope and will not actually get hit by this. So there we go. Akshon's going to swing into the back lines. It is very unfortunate that this person got the Radiant. Now, you might have noticed this was the person who got the redeemed emblem off the carousel earlier. Obviously, I had no need for the redeemed emblem, but look, they were able to put it on Heimerdinger, which is not great for us that they have a 6 redeemed Heimerdinger in that game right now. So once again, we're going to get this comp low, but we haven't actually killed the haven't actually killed the Vel'Koz, and obviously if we don't kill the Vel'Koz, we're not going to win this particular round. Volibear is still jumping up in the air. Heimer's applying that healing debuff. It's kind of amazing that the Galio survives that long. We almost turned this into a double loss via overtime, but not quite enough. Anyway, I'm going to get Garen. Obviously, Garen's much better. And then we're going to get the... whatchamacallit? We're going to get the bonus for when you drop under 40 HP. And note that there's a Gwen here, and I really should look to pick up this Gwen. And the reason for that is Gwen is Mystic. And I should have identified right now as like, wait a minute, this is a 1v1 setup right here. It's me against this person who's playing 6 redeemed with Vel'Koz plus Heimer. I should have identified right away that what I needed was to start putting Mystic units in. I can actually stop dropping some of this stuff. Like, what is Ironclad going to do against this team? Nothing. As much as it's nice to have Rel in here, I should just like be looking to drop the Rel and maybe go down to fewer knights, and so that I can try to get Mystic in. Because if I can get up to like 4 Mystic, I can probably beat this team composition. But like I need to start making that transition while I have enough time to start playing these units. Like if I can get in Gwen, and then I can get in like Lux, and if I can get in, who are some of the other units? Poppy, and oh, we actually managed to kill the Vel'Koz. Oh, can we actually win this round? All that's left is now the Heimer, and yes, there we go. Haha. So I might have been thrown off a little bit by this round because I was able to win. And what do we have here? Well, again, not really items I want all that much, but I actually make another mistake here in that I decide, well, let's just pick up another Thief's Glove, but I leave a Heimer with a Chalice, and I was like, oh no, does that person now going to hit 2-star Heimer with the Chalice that I gave over to them? Oh boy, that's not good. And in fact, they do hit the 2-star Heimer, and I have just given them a 2-star Heimer, and I was like, oh, that is not good at all, because now they're going to be able to put even more ability power on their unit. And then I go ahead and use the Nico on the Rel. So I've just made a couple big mistakes here. I let them get the 2-star Heimer, and they're going to be able to put double Chalice on that Vel'Koz. Plus, they've now got the redeemed Heimer, and I use my Nico's help on the Rel instead of looking to put it on something like Gwen. So big mistakes here, not paying attention to what the other person was playing, what would be the best units for them to play in their comp. Yeah, they actually now have double Chalice in play, so a lot of extra AP over there. And what's not good, you know what's not good for my comp? Heimer's ult hitting for like 1500 damage. So look how close this fight is. We did manage to kill the Vel'Koz very quickly again. So I was like, oh, now can I kill that Heimer? And oh, if this was just a 1-star Heimer, we would win this fight very easily. Oh, the Heimer's so low, but MF does not get off a last-second cast. Now it's just, oh, just Galio in the turret, and oh, we lose that by so little. And at this point I was starting to think, oh, you know what? I really should probably start getting Mystic in, but I don't have any money left is the problem. I have no gold whatsoever. So I'm like, well, I want to put Mystic in, but like, can I do that if I have no gold? Like, is it worthwhile to drop from like a 2-star Rel down to like a 1-star Fiddlesticks? I don't know. It doesn't feel that good. So boy, we lost that one round so closely. We killed everything except the Heimer turret. And now I'm going to look to get, at least I've rolled this Zephyr on the Thief's Glove. I'm going to look to get the Zephyr on. I was hoping to get the Vel'Koz. I'm going to get the Heimer instead, but that actually might not be that bad, because I think that the Heimer is like equally as bad as the Vel'Koz now. They're both really bad in terms of how much damage they do. Anyway, so again, we want to try to cut through the front line. We've got a Lucian ult going off. It's going to finish off the Syndra at least. And Galio keeps getting thrown away by the Syndra. So, I mean, it's looking pretty good here. We did manage to get a Thresh hook on the Heimer, who's going to have to put down a turret. But again, all my damage is gone. By the time I can finally get on these 2 units, all my damage is done. With Redeem 6 plus double Chalices, they're just hitting for so much damage. And yeah, not looking too good here. So at this point, I was like, you know what? I need to start teching in Mystic units. I have to get Mystic units in my comp. It's the only way I have any chance to win this. Like I can drop, like let's look to drop Ironclad. Let's look to drop some of these Knights. I don't really think I need the Nautilus or the Thresh. Thresh hooks have been doing good work, but you might have noticed in the last round, this person I'm up against has been repositioning into the middle of the field. And like that's where they need to position the like their units. Just put them in the middle so Thresh can't hook them and get the big delay on their abilities. So once again, I'm looking to try to make a very, very late transition. Now I grabbed the Gwen, but I really should have grabbed Gwen earlier. I probably could have had Gwen 2-star, because there were two Gwens that I saw. And like, yeah, there we go. So you're going to see me look to tech in Mystic. And now I'm rolling to try to hit some of these units. And there's another Mystic. I should just take out the Rel and play that for an extra Mystic. And I went by a Poppy as well, which was, or not a Poppy, I went by Lulu. So, like, I've got two Mystic in, but I really need to get more Mystics in. And now I'm going to try to position these units near Gwen. If you're unfamiliar with Gwen, she puts down Mist at the start of the fight. And the units that are standing in the mist get extra, I believe it's extra resistances, if I remember correctly. Of course, she's a Mystic unit as well. I'm going to toss the what's the item there? The Hurricane on her. So that's going to help us in these fights. And again, we've actually managed to cut through the front line pretty well in this fight now that I've got the Gwen in there. And Akshon's still alive, MF is still alive, Galio's still alive. I was like, come on, MF, get an ult on these enemy units. And she is going to drop her ult. That's going to kill these guys. We just have to deal with the Vel'Koz. There we go. Alrighty. And so, haha, I knocked them down to 4 HP. And I'm like, yes, down to 4 HP. But at the same time, I was like, wait a minute. Earlier in the game, I don't know if you remember, I lost a fight with this against this team earlier in the game when they were down to just one unit left. And then I lost another fight when they were down to just a turret left. And oh boy, wish I still had that Nikos for the Gwen. But of course I don't. And I'll make the 2-star Lux. But like, oh man, this is so close. If I had won either of those fights against this team comp earlier in the game, man, that would be nice. So I'm going to go ahead and put the Gwen down. I am on the correct side, away from the Vel'Koz. So I've got 3 Mystic, but man, it would be nice to have another Mystic in for 4 Mystic. Or to have the Gwen 2-star, that would be nice as well. Unfortunately, though, Voli gets off a really good ult, and for some reason, Vel'Koz is targeting MF. I have no idea why, instead of hitting the other side. And gets off then another ult, and oh, the fight RNG has gone really badly in this very last round. I'm still not exactly sure why Vel'Koz targeted the right side instead of the left side. There were units over there, but for some reason, Vel'Koz targets to the right instead of to the left, kills my units, and even though Galio is super tanky, I can't actually win this fight. So this is a sad ending to this game. Man, this person winning multiple fights against me by the slimmest of margins, but that's going to be it. Needed to tech into Mystic sooner. Obviously, this person had some good luck. Needed to take that Heimer off carousel. Obviously, this person's super lucky to find a redeemed emblem on a carousel. I did not find a knight emblem. I did not find anything that would help me, but still could have made better choices, could have come out on top in this game. Instead, it's going to be a narrow second place finish in this match, but an entertaining one to see. I really enjoyed building the Galio and having a unit that was like mostly unkillable. I think I played this pretty well overall, but needed to tech in Mystic sooner and needed to deny that Heimerdinger on carousel. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this. I'm not loving set 5.5 thus far, but I did want to showcase some of the gameplay. Hope you're enjoying it. Until next time, then, hope you guys are having a good week. Take care, and I'll see you guys again soon.